It's time for Lefties Losing It, and Lizzo has taken aim at American Eagle, mocking their ads featuring Sydney Sweeney. First, she posted this to Instagram with the caption, "My jeans are black," and then she released this video.
Oh, give me some space. It's way too hot up in here. I'm sweating out of my lace. Don't need no bottle service. We pulled up with our drinks. Trunk full of that Ace. Trunk full of that Henny. If we ain't got no Waffle House, we pulling up to the Denny's. I'ma give him a grand slam. He pulling off of the panties. The way he hit from the back, I might give him one of my Grammys. Did this for the culture. That left, right, and that bend it over. Got scissor and doja. I ate that. Now let's do it over. What did I told you? I'm going into October. Like the fun is over. Like summer's over.
You know what? The end of the body positivity movement has been great for Lizzo. She has dropped a lot of weight, which is wonderful for her health. And I'm just glad her pants are intact these days. I'm sorry for what you're about to see. Now, this next young lady is here to school us. Unfortunately, around 82% of everything she says is inaccurate, but good on you for trying, love.
First of all, you don't get denim blue without black hands, without black knowledge. So why are they still centering whiteness to sell us something that we literally built? The iconic denim blue wouldn't exist without indigo. And indigo didn't grow here. Indigo was brought here along with the people who knew how to grow it, how to ferment it, and how to turn it into dye. That deep blue, our ancestors mastered it long before white people knew what to do with the plant.
Now, let's check in on MSNBC, the mental health facility posing as a TV network. And I wonder, is Rachel Maddow still having paranoid fantasies about living under a dictatorship? This woman needs help.
Life has not stopped, and none of our personal lives have stopped. But also, at the same time, life in the United States is profoundly changing, is profoundly different than it was even 6 months ago. Because we do now live in a country that has an authoritarian leader in charge. We have a consolidating dictatorship in our country.
Incredible. How that woman shows her face after all the lies, all the misinformation she pushed about the Russian collusion hoax is beyond me. She is shameless. And talking about shameless, just when you thought the awfuls, that's the affluent white female lefties, just when you thought they couldn't get any crazier, here they accuse God of not receiving the Virgin Mary's consent.
Well, he didn't. The Holy Spirit conceived Jesus in her womb.
Did Mary give God consent to put Jesus inside of her?
Okay, here is another totally rational awful telling you that if you don't wear masks when you're out of your home, then you're all for killing disabled black folk.
Good genes passed on to offspring? That American Eagle ad with Sydney Sweeney is literally overt eugenics. I know you don't want to hear this, but if you want to talk about how that ad is promoting eugenics, which it absolutely is, we also have to talk about how choosing not to wear a mask when you can during an ongoing pandemic, because you're okay with a certain subset of people, primarily disabled people of color, dying for your own comfort, is also eugenics, just the more normalized kind.
We're going to stick with the awfuls. Here's one in the wild. She thinks she's saving the world by obstructing ICE officers.
Don't fucking push me. You're taking him before I can take a phone number from him?
You need to stop.
You need to stop kidnapping people off the street.
100%.
You just dragged him away when I'm trying to call his family for him.
We're making an arrest. You need to stay
Show
back
me your
from my
arrest
way.
warrant then. Show me your arrest warrant.
I don't need to show you anything.
Yeah, because you're a liar.
You're not an interested party. You have no right to see that.
Stop! You guys are kidnapping people off the street.
In this next clip, we've got a very foolish prediction from an awful. Be careful what you wish for, lady.
Unpopular opinion, but if we took all MAGA men from ages 18 to 50 and replaced them with immigrants, violence against women and children would decrease to almost 0%.
Now let's step up the crazy and hear from Democrat Texas State Rep Yolanda Jones. Here she claims American citizens will be deported, and she even compares the Texas redistricting to the Holocaust.
And then integration happened and everybody thought they accept us. They don't accept us. They are showing us who they are. We should believe them. And we better have the courage to stand up. Otherwise, we will fall for anything. And in this country, we will be defeated, deported. I mean, we will lose all of our rights. And if you think it can't happen, it can. And I will liken this to the Holocaust. People are like, well, how did the Holocaust happen? How was somebody in a position to kill all them people? Well, good people remain silent. Or good people didn't realize that what happens to them can very soon happen to me or somebody I love.
Can you believe that? You've got Don Lemon just nodding along like the fool he is. Now let's see what happens at a leftist protest when someone is misgendered. Oh no.
Shut up! These are radical Christians in there that are housing neo-Nazis.
Right, but
and you're defending... God,
they don't,
stupid!
They don't push gays off the top
Are
of the
you
building for being
kidding?
gay.
Shut the up, you bigot! Shut the up! You
I know,
don't want
great.
to learn!
He needs to learn how to communicate like you do.
Shame!
Oh, are you going to threaten me?
Did you misgender her? Did you misgender her?
Apparently.
Now, here are some truly confused folk in London. Not only do they not really know what gender they are, but they are chanting for Palestine, a place where they would not be allowed to march, they wouldn't be allowed to chant, they wouldn't be allowed to exist. This is like turkeys chanting for Christmas.
Palestine will live forever! Free, free! Palestine! Free, free! Palestine! Palestine! Palestine!
Staying in the UK, the kids are revolting at the University of Birmingham.
We, an autonomous grouping of disenfranchised students, have today entered into occupation inside the building of Guild of Students in the University of Birmingham for the duration of the NUS conference, Lead and Change. After NUS have refused to answer our open letter calling out their complicity in genocide, instead responding indirectly to pressure without acknowledging it by publishing a statement which pretends to call for justice, but which, unlike their older statement on the Middle East crisis, doesn't commit to any planned or real action from NUS.
Profound. Like I said, the kids are revolting, and I wouldn't suggest wearing that outfit in Gaza, love, but imagine being so far left that the far left NUS, the National Union of Students, is not left enough for you.
Who stand fundamentally opposed to genocide, who have been marginalised by NUS's political abdication in the face of genocide. Our occupation will last for the duration of the Lead and Change conference. We're prepared to disrupt any location should the organisers attempt to transfer to another venue.
Oh, I know what you're saying. You want to hear more from that rather odd, confused girl. Well, here she is. Her name is Star. And here she accuses the student union of being complicit in genocide.
50 universities around the UK that have signed an open letter condemning the NUS's complicity in the genocide of Palestinians. This is an appalling, embarrassing attempt to stifle the student voice and contribute to the normalisation of genocide.
Welcome back. Now, watch just how low and deplorable these anti-Trump activists were willing to go, whether they were in the intelligence community or the media. This exchange between James Comey and Stephen Colbert should be studied by future generations. This is beyond Orwellian. And as you watch this, remember, Comey knew the Steele dossier was utter fiction, manufactured for the Democrats.
You went in January of 2017 to tell President Trump about the Steele dossier. How did you tell him that there was a, and I want to put this delicately, pee-pee tape? How did you tell him about that rumor?
I spoke about information, unverified, that related to an allegation that he was with prostitutes in a hotel in Moscow and that the Russians had videotaped it. I didn't go into the rest of it. I thought that was notice enough. And I was.
So you didn't mention the salacious detail of the two prostitutes getting up on the bed that the Obamas had stayed in, because it was the presidential suite, engaging in some water play. You didn't mention that at all.
I thought I'd served enough notice without going to that part.
Okay, and what did he say when you told him about this?
He denied it. He interrupted me and denied it in pretty strong terms.
Utterly contemptible, beyond contempt. Joining me now is political commentator and author of The Children We Left Behind, Adam B. Coleman. Adam, do you believe James Comey and others complicit in pushing this damaging lie are nervous at all about investigations and possible charges?
I personally think that Comey is too egotistical to think that any sort of accountability will come in his direction. And unfortunately, when we see people in positions of power like Comey, often accountability doesn't come their way. One can only hope that the Trump administration actually follows through and investigates this appropriately, because the American public was gone through years of allegations of Donald Trump colluding with Russia. Blue and on, Democrats still perpetuate this lie. Rachel Maddow still perpetuates this lie. Even though it was thoroughly investigated, they put Robert Mueller in charge to lead this investigation, called the man a Boy Scout, and then he came back with absolutely nothing, even though he had all the power to uncover whatever he wanted to and interview everyone, and came up with nothing. So, yeah, absolutely. I think the American public deserves to have this thoroughly investigated to find out who was behind all this.
Now, the House Republicans have subpoenaed a number of former federal officials and politicians, including Bill and Hillary Clinton. They're doing this in expanding a probe into Jeffrey Epstein. Adam, Bill Clinton may become only the fifth former president to testify before a congressional committee, and I'd imagine that would have a lot of questions about his relationship with Epstein and the number of times he was on that plane and the number of times he may have visited that island.
Yeah, as much as I would love to see him actually on camera answering questions, I doubt that will actually happen. Probably will occur is that he will be non-compliant to an extent where this will become more of a negotiation behind the scenes, which there's precedence for. There will be some sort of legal challenge, if anything. So will this possibly happen? Will the American public get on C-SPAN Bill Clinton answering questions about why he was hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein so much on these planes and why they were going to these islands and what was happening there? I don't think we'll actually have that show moment, although it would be absolutely spectacular if I was 100% wrong.
Adam, I think you're 100% right. Bill Clinton is going to do everything within his power to avoid testifying. Now, let's move along to Big Balls. Remember him? He made headlines before and he's made them again. Edward Correstein, the teenager known as Big Balls, who previously worked at Doge, was viciously bashed in DC by a group of thugs, and Donald Trump has had enough of the out-of-control violence in DC.
I have to say that somebody from Doge was very badly hurt last night. You saw that, a young man who was beat up by a bunch of thugs in D.C., and either they're going to straighten their act out in the terms of government and in terms of protection, or we're going to have to federalize and run it the way it's supposed to be run.
Adam, is that just bluster, or do you think the president is serious about stepping in and taking over, because crime in DC is a real issue?
Well, if he's serious about it, it's a good question, but I think first we have to find out, is it possible? So obviously he has the power to temporarily take control. Maybe under some emergency situation, he can do so. Civil unrest, he can do so. But as far as permanent control, the federal government taking over the police permanently, he would need congressional approval for that to happen. So there would have to be some sort of political might for this to occur. And obviously, there are optics to this. Are they taking away, the voice of the people who elected local officials to be in their positions, who elected their mayor, whether she's doing a good job or not, they still elected them. So there are a lot of concerns when it comes to that. Is he 100% serious about this? I don't know. He's often a man of the moment who says a lot of loud things because he's just responding to something. But this is still politics. And will he use his political capital to fight for this? I don't think so, at least not at this very moment.
Well, yeah, he is a man of the moment. We had footage of him earlier today on the roof of the White House. You don't see that every day. Before you go, we've seen alligator Alcatraz down in Florida. Now Indiana is getting the Speedway Slammer. Kristi Noem announced this earlier today, a new partnership with the state of Indiana to expand detention beds by 1,000 beds. They're pressing ahead with this agenda despite the abundant bad publicity. They're not stopping with this deportation program.
Yeah, well, the bad publicity is coming from the left-wing mainstream media. I think the Trump administration is doing something that should have happened with the Trump 1.0 administration, is that do the thing that the American public elected you to do, and don't worry about what the media portrays you as doing. Whether he tries to cater to the media, whether he tries to make it all shiny and smooth, it doesn't matter because they're still going to smear him. The American public wanted Trump administration to take this seriously, and that's what they're doing.
That's exactly what they're doing. Adam B. Coleman, thank you so much for your time tonight.